Listen.
Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something.
When hinges creak in doorless chambers, and strange and frightening sounds echo through the halls, whenever candlelights flicker, where the air is deathly still, that is the time when ghosts are present, practicing their terror with ghoulish delight. There's no turning back now.
Just after sundown, when darkness creeps over the land, the dark figures lurk in the shadows, the fangs glisten in the moonlight, and the ghosts of the world become restless. We begin our journey. Join us as we travel into the world of the paranormal, the supernatural, and the bizarre. On Nightwatch, with your hosts, Todd Sheets, Chris Weisbach, and Hugh McClanahan. Nightwatch.
Welcome to Nightwatch. I'm your host, as always, Todd Sheets, here with Hugh McClanahan.
Oh, yeah.
Who can't seem to drive on highways, and Chris Weisbach.
Good evening.
Chris, how you doing, my friend?
All I do is drive on highways.
I know. You've been so, well, you know, you got to keep on the go to keep away from your extraterrestrial pals.
That's right.
I think even you at this point are a little tired of abductions.
I'll tell you.
You know, it does happen. And Hugh over here.
I was sucked up.
You were. Hugh had a missing time thing.
More than
there.
normal, actually.
He's on one highway, goes to get on the other highway, ends up going the wrong way. People are screaming and honking at him. Lights are blinding his eyes. And he's like, what's wrong with everyone? Hey, newsflash, Hugh, that means you're going the wrong way. That's what
It
that
wasn't
means.
that kind of wrong.
It was all wrong way. So we are here tonight. We're not going to take a whole lot of time for introductions because the queen of action movies is here with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Sybil Danning. Sybil, welcome back.
Thank you. It's so great to be back with you again.
The honor is all ours, and we were so happy to hear from you, and we're so excited. I guess you got some new things going on.
Yeah, well, I just heard you mentioning the word action. You got it. I think, and I hope that most of you all out there have seen L.A. Bounty. And if you haven't, L.A. Bounty is a wonderful action movie that I produced wherein I play an LAPD officer turned bounty hunter. And she is a bounty hunter because when she brings in her, as the LAPD officer, when she brings in her bad guy, who was played by none other than, I know the women are going to go crazy now, Wings Hauser.
Yes!
I mean, what a great actor, huh?
Oh, I love Wings Hauser.
Yeah, so when she brings him in and is so mad at him and doesn't read him the Miranda rights, she gets axed by the LAPD. And so she decides to just go off as a bounty hunter and bring him in on her own terms and her way, and she does it. So that character's name is Ruger, and Ruger is the character of a wonderful new movie that I have written. It's a full screenplay, and of course it's an action movie, and it's also going to become a game, and it's also going to become a graphic novel, which is all in the works. So I'm very excited about that. And by the way, when you said B, for me, B means the best. So
That's
B
right.
is
That's right.
best.
That's what we think.
And you know, I mean, I think as well as all my wonderful fans certainly do, I mean, B movies, there's no difference between B movies. Listen, when I started doing my movies, okay, in the 80s, I did B movies because I did action movies, I did fantasy movies, and in the 80s, women weren't doing that because it was, you know, we had really macho movies, as in, you know, Rambo and Commando, and there weren't good movies out there for women. So people like Roger Corman and Fred Olen Ray went out there and wrote some great fantasy characters for women, and that was my time. So those were B movies because Roger Corman and the likes of Fred Olen Ray, who I really love and loved working with, they don't have, and they didn't have the budget of the big studios. So that's why they're called B movies. So A movies are big budget studio movies. B movies are small budget, wonderful fun movies that you all out there love, and I know you guys love too, and I loved making, and I'm proud of them.
Well, you know,
and another good B is brilliant. They're brilliant.
That's right.
Exactly.
That is right,
Yep.
Hugh.
Good point, Hugh.
Absolutely. And I got to tell you, the whole terminology for B movies, a lot of people don't realize, came about because of the way the drive-ins used to be put together, the way they would rent the films for exhibition on drive-in screens, and the way the distributors did it. They would have the A feature and the B feature. The A feature would usually be like, say, if in the 70s, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And then the B feature, just simply because Hollywood kind of controlled so many screens in this country at the time, they would always get the top billing. The B feature would be the second feature. And those would usually sometimes also be a Warner Brothers picture or whatever, but a lot of times they would go to guys like Roger Corman and they'd say, hey, we need to fill our time slots. We got a B and a C time slot here, and we need to fill them. And they would end up with movies that many times would outshine those mainstream films, because the difference is Roger and people like Roger and Fred Olen Ray and Jim Wynorski and these guys, they knew how to tap into an entire market. They knew what we wanted to see, unlike the majors, who sometimes would be pretentious, or they wanted to do their own thing, or, you know, the politics of the time, whatever. None of that creeped into the movies we loved, and that's why you could go see a movie like The Howling 2 or any number of films. L.A. Bounty is a prime example. Warrior Queen was one of my favorites, Reform School Girls, and of course, you know, you mentioned Wings Hauser, and that there's the Linda Blair connection there, because you started with Linda, who was with Wings Hauser for quite some time in Chained Heat. All these movies are the ones we love, the ones we wanted to see, and the ones that gave us the bang for our buck, unlike the major blockbusters, which a lot of times, let's be honest, were duds in the 70s and the 80s, but we ended up enjoying ourselves because your movies were there.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes. And don't forget also, at that time, when you mentioned, you know, the drive-ins and the big studios showing their big A movies, at that time, the studios also owned the theaters. And
That's right.
After that, they were no longer allowed to own studios and theaters. So that became, you know, that was divided up, because otherwise there would have been a terrible monopoly still today. So that was divided up. So yes, they showed their big A movies, and then the B one was, I don't know, Monster from the Sewer or something. Yeah, and today, actually, we are kind of, on the one hand, it's kind of a backhanded compliment and good thing happening now, because, you know, studios are making less and less movies, and their movies are getting more and more expensive because they're all their tentpole movies, like
the Avengers, stuff like that.
Bigger budget movies. So that's the one side. But on the other hand, since the wonderful digital world we're living in now, so many wonderful young unknown producers are coming into the business making movies on, you know, digitally, that are really fantastic movies to be shown. You just mentioned Virus X. That's one of the movies that kind of found a wonderful home in Lionsgate. I mean, Lionsgate released that movie, and I'm very proud of that, because hey, I think you guys all know they just bought up Summit, who produced and distributed all of the Twilight movies. So that's I'm really proud to be in on that, you know, that whole distribution area now that distributed the Twilight movies, which I happen to love, and if they were for 16-year-olds, so be it. I'm along with them. I'm in on it.
You and Amanda. Amanda's so happy right now. She's like, yay, Twilight is redeemed. She's so happy. That's like one of her favorite movie series, so you just made her day. I got to tell you, the one of the things that I find really ironic about the way, if you look at the studio system, as when you were first coming out and you were doing these movies, whether it be films you made overseas or films that you had made here in America, if you watch like movies like Naughty Nymphs and things like that from the early 70s, and you're watching the studios during that time, they were kind of snobbish or what have you. But then they saw you guys, you upstarts, were making all this bank at the movie theaters, and they were like, hold on a minute, and they started emulating you guys. The only difference was, like you said, they could throw some dollar bills at it, which didn't always work. But they ended up with movies like Terminator and Terminator 2, which in essence were the same movies you were already making all these years, only they finally woke up. And they're like, today at the box office, the movies that are making the big dollars are either superhero movies or these crazy action movies and wild special effects extravaganzas that are basically just big budget versions of the movies that we've already loved since the 70s.
Exactly. You got it. Mm-hmm.
They finally caught up.
That's the whole theory behind the Tarantino flicks,
Rob Zombie and Tarantino both. They know it.
It's like going back to this. This is what people want. Let's go back to this and film it in such a way that it puts you in that, that aura,
That's right. That you
exactly.
feel like.
Well, those are the hotties in Hollywood. I mean, Tarantino, Rodriguez, those guys, they're just incredible. And I mean, that's when Grindhouse came out. I'm just sorry that it really, Grindhouse wasn't as big as really we had hoped it would be, and I don't know why. I think it was probably just because there was too much all in one. It was 2 movies and then all of the the little commercials like mine, Werewolf Women of the SS. But those are the movies that all of Tarantino's movies did so very well, and they've already done Machete, and I'm really hoping that Rob Zombie's going to get Werewolf Women done, because I know for a fact that he shot at least 30 minutes of actual film, when we were doing just that little commercial for 3 minutes.
Right.
But he had, we were up north in Valencia, and he had the fake snow machines up there, and all the soldiers and all the cars and the beautiful sets, of the 40s. It really was just so beautiful, so much that, of course, you never got to see in that little trailer, but just so much beautiful production value that he was no dummy. He shot and shot and shot, and he's got about 30 minutes now. And he's just raving to go and waiting to make a, 90-minute movie out of it. So I think after Machete, I think probably Werewolf Women is going to go as a theatrical. And I don't know who I've, everybody I talk to, there isn't one person that ever said, oh, I don't think that would make a movie. I mean, everybody that I've talked to just can't wait to see it as a full-length feature.
Oh, I agree. Another friend of the show we talked to a few weeks ago was Diane Thorne, and we told her we think that the two of you would be perfect in that film together. We got to have Sybil and Diane together finally up there in the big screen. I would just lose it. It'd be like the greatest thing ever.
Well, you know that I was in Vegas, or do you?
I do.
Okay. Well, guess who was in Vegas too?
Diane Thorne.
That's right. Did you know that?
I did, yes. It's awesome.
Yes, she was. And this is the second time that we actually met up, because the first time we met was actually here, and I think you all know, or who doesn't know, the wonderful old Beverly Cinema on Beverly Boulevard in Hollywood is owned by Quentin Tarantino. He saved that theater from going under, and they show the most wonderful old movies there all the time. And they bring in, they'll show Chained Heat, and they'll bring in Linda Blair. They show Julie Darling there, and I would go in and do a Q&A afterwards, and it was just wonderful. And they showed one night Ilse She-Wolf of the SS, and Brian, who runs the theater there, I told him, I said, if you ever play that movie and you don't call me, I will kill you. So, and he knows I mean it. So he called me, he said, Sybil, not only are we going to play it, but Diane's going to be there. And I said, I want to see the movie and I want to meet her. So I went to the theater, I saw the movie, and I met her. And she is just a sweetheart. But it was, we didn't really have time to talk in and out. Now, this weekend, here we are, both of us in Vegas at the Hollywood show, and the fans went crazy. I mean, they came up to me and they said, oh, my God, you should be doing a remake of Ilse She-Wolf of the SS. And then Diane came over to me and she says, oh, my God, everybody's telling me that, they love what you did in Werewolf Woman of the SS, and we should do a movie together. And it's just like, the two of us in one room for the fans was just too much, even though it was the huge ballroom, of the hotel in Vegas. But it was amazing, and she is just an absolute sweetheart. We took a picture together, so I'm going to be putting it up on my Twitter. So any of you that do not know where to go, just go to twitter.com/Sybil Danning, and you will see a picture of Diane and myself. And it's so cute because she didn't want to stand next to me. She says, no, you go in front of me. She acts kind of half hid behind me. You guys go there, go to Twitter, see the picture, and try and figure it out for yourself. I don't know, because she's not a shy person, okay? So it's not like, wow, she's shy, she was hiding behind me, but I don't know. Maybe she was just pushing me out there and didn't want to be totally in the spotlight. You guys look at the picture and see if you can figure it out for yourself.
She was probably getting ready to hit you with a riding crop.
Well, now, but she knows that I have mine under the desk as well, okay?
That's right.
So that would be the battle of the bitches, right?
That would be awesome. I tell you what, if I'd have been in that room, I'd have melted like butter. It'd have been terrible. I'd have been just
like what?
Butter. I'd have been like this pool of butter on the ground. It would have been unbelievable because that would be almost too much to handle right there. My two favorite action heroines. And well, she's you're the hero and she's like the villain, that's the thing. Ilse was the villain, but you were always the greatest hero. You did all these great movies like Warrior Queen and Jungle Warriors, and you were just like the coolest hero. You've also played a villain, but you were just a great hero too.
Well, thank you. But, I think maybe we've got our title right there for a movie with Diane and myself, Battle of the Bitches.
Hey, I'm there. I'm going to start rounding up money today.
Buy me a ticket.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow, man. See,
She's a great gal.
She is.
Have you ever met her? Has anybody there met her?
We haven't met her in person. We just had her on the show, and she was so sweet and kind to us, and we love her dearly. We're hoping to get to meet her face to face sometime.
Yes, she is. She's very, very sweet, very nice. And sometimes, not all women are nice to me either, for whatever reason. Also to me, she knows who she is. I know who I am. We have no problem. We just got along very well, and I'm just very happy to have met her because I don't know if you know, but Fred Olin Ray, at least he told me that. I think we were actually in New York, and he told me, he said, Sybil, I want to see if I can get the rights to doing the remake of Ilse She-Wolf of the SS. But unfortunately, what's his name? Edmund, right?
Uh-huh.
The owner and creator?
Don Edmonds, yeah.
Don Edmonds, yeah, died. And I don't know what happened to those rights. I never asked Fred after that, but obviously he never got around to getting the rights or us doing the movie. But I would love to do that movie. I would love to do a remake.
Oh, yeah.
I think so, too.
Oh, yeah. I think the reason why you intimidate some women is the big J. I think there's a jealousy involved because, you're Sybil Danning. You got the brains, the beauty. You got it all going on. You can beat them up if they get in your way. That's what it's about.
Okay.
That's exactly it.
It is. A lot of people a lot of women don't know how to take you. I mean, you're a powerful woman. You're in their face, and they're just like intimidated by your awesomeness.
But that's sad because I actually I do like women, and I get along with them if they're not stupid. I mean, if somebody gets stupid and they act stupid, then I just let it go. But there are some women that don't like women, but I do like women. So maybe you're right. Maybe some women are just a little bit. You said jealous. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's just insecure. I don't know.
Let's face it. You're very secure in who you are. You know exactly what you want. You go out there and you grab it, and that's what's so amazing about you. Your entire career, we've watched you do that.
Well, you have to. I mean, nothing is really given to you, or at least some people seem to get everything carried to them, and they have that luck, or they're at the right place at the right time, which is a big part of luck. But then again, some people have it a little more difficult, and you just have to go out and fight for it. And I've basically done that all my life, and that's okay. That's all right. That's the fighter in me, and I guess that's what comes through in my characters and in my roles too.
It's
and they
true.
always say there's always a little bit of the person in the character that you play. Like when I was at Malpaso at Warner Brothers, and I was over there to talk to Clint Eastwood about a project, and I went into the office, and I said, oh, by the way, I said, there was no parking out there, so I just parked where it said Clint Eastwood. Is that okay? And the guy said, no, it is not. You please get out there. And because I was waiting for Clint Eastwood to come. And he said, no, because he's going to be here any minute. And if he catches you there, he really doesn't like it. The last person that he caught in his parking space that said Clint Eastwood, he took a baseball bat to that car.
Oh, man. I couldn't believe that.
I went out there real quick. I did not want to take Clint on, okay? So I guess, when he plays those wonderful roles that he has, I always loved Dirty Harry a whole lot. There's a lot of Clint Eastwood, the real man in his characters,
Hey, Sybil, you're parked in my parking space.
Yeah.
Not to mention you worked with Sean Connery, and is that right, in Meteor?
Meteor, yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't have any scenes together, but we were in the movie together, and I shot in Switzerland and in St. Moritz, beautiful, beautiful ski resort, kind of like the Aspen here in the United States, and really beautiful. And when I came back to Hollywood, because, I was in the snow disaster sequel of that movie, and when I came back to Hollywood, I said to the producer, I said, I can't be, because to me, I mean, he was the James Bond of all James Bond.
Oh, yeah.
And I really loved him. And I said to the producer, I can't be in a movie and never meet Sean Connery. So that was an MGM movie. And so I went over to the studio, and he said, Sybil, come then, and I'll introduce you. So I go on the studio set, and I'm standing there, and he said, Sean will be finished. He was just finishing a scene. He'll be right down. He was doing something that was kind of like up in a loft. And the scene is over, and he comes down, and he comes towards me, and I swear it was so amazing. He walks towards me with one hand. He pulls his toupee off of his head, and with the other hand, he shakes my hand, and in his beautiful voice, hello, Sean Connery. And I said, Sybil Danning, I mean, that takes a lot of security. I mean, that's why I love him so much. He's really a man, because who would walk up to a woman, and I don't care, if it's on the set or where it is, and pulls his hairpiece off right in front of you. And I think that was also the year where they said he was the sexiest man. I think he was on Life magazine as the sexiest man in the world.
Wow.
But that's Sean Connery.
I was always big on. I think that was one of Natalie Wood's last movies too.
I think
Yeah.
so. Mm-hmm.
I believe, or Brainstorm.
Brainstorm was after Meteor. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, Meteor was a cool classic. I love that one. Hugh, did you have something over there?
What made you want to be the all-time action goddess?
Action goddess?
Yeah, like maybe when you were young, what was it that made you kind of click in you that said, you know what, I want to be this, I want to be an actress, I want to be an action hero?
Well, actually, it's in me because I was always a tomboy. I didn't play with dolls. I liked playing and, going to the junkyard and sitting in a car and pretending I was racing, and I would go climbing trees with boys. So I was always a tomboy anyhow. And when I, started my career, I did a lot of sexy movies. And when I came to Hollywood, my manager said to me, he said, you're so beautiful, you're so sexy. You also have, though, a strength in you that very few women that I've met have. So if you combine your beauty and your sexuality and your strength, that would be incredible. So, for instance, we went over to the studio, and the movie was called Amazon Women on the Moon at Universal. And I was actually up for a role to play the wife of the President of the United States. And we go in there, and we come into the reception, and my manager was standing there at the secretary's desk, and he was reading upside down, and he said to her, he said, "What is this about the Queen Laura of the Queen of the Amazons?" And she said, "Oh, that's the episode after the one with the President." And he said, "I want Sybil to go in, because I went in to see Robert Weiss, the director. I want Sybil to go in with that episode, and she should play the Queen and not the wife of the President." So, oh, okay, well, I'll give you the sides, which were the pages to that episode. So when I went in to see the director, he says, "Oh, hi, Sybil, so you're here to see me for the role of the wife of the President?" And I said, "No, I'm Queen Laura. I'm your Queen of the Amazons." And he looked at me and he said, "You know what? You should play the Queen." So that's how it happened. I mean, things like that were done. My manager looked for those kind of roles for me to play, and sometimes I was offered a role and it wasn't interesting, and he would read the script and he would say, "Hey, let her play that role." And they'd say, "Yeah, but he's a guy." And he said, "So?"
Change it.
I mean, so let her play it. Is there anything in there that this character can't do as if a woman played it? And he said, "No." So that's how that came about, and my fans loved it. So the roles I ended up playing were always the strong women's roles, and the more my fans loved it, and the more we were looking for those kind of roles, and that's how that came about. And I enjoyed doing that because, like I said, I was always a tomboy, so I loved doing it, and I didn't exactly look like a man playing those roles.
No,
so
not at all.
We can attest to that.
So it just happened to work. It was exactly what he said. It was that combination that made it work and made it interesting. And he said, there are a lot of beautiful women that can play romantic roles better than you, but there are not a lot of women that are beautiful and sexy that can play strong like you and not look like they're carrying a blow dryer when they're carrying a gun,
True.
So that's basically how that came about.
Well, I have to tell you, honestly, what you just mentioned there, the sexy, the smart, the sensuous, but still tough as nails, to me was epitomized when you played Saint X-Men. And I know I've mentioned that before, but I had to tell you again, I just watched that again recently. Battle Beyond the Stars, to me, is one of the great sci-fi movies of our time. And really, you in that movie, I remember, man, I had a crush. It was unbelievable. It was heck with Princess Leia. She can take her honey buns and go home. I was into Saint X-Men.
Being adolescents when that movie came out was a special time for all of us.
It really was. It really was unbelievable. Sybil, you were just perfect for that part. If they had anyone else in that movie, it would not have worked.
You mean you liked the dialogue that I had in there as the warrior? like you've never seen a Valkyrie go down.
It's awesome.
Exactly.
That is awesome.
Yes, because of course she was talking about how then later on she would go and commit harakiri, right, in space.
That's right. That's exactly what it was. We were so honestly, they cast that movie so perfectly. I thought
It's a great movie.
John Boyd did a fantastic job. Richard Thomas in the lead there, he did a fantastic job. Everyone in the whole movie was. John Saxon, I believe, was in there, and it was just the perfect cast.
Well, John and I went last year to San Diego Con together for the distributor to promote Battle Beyond the Stars on Blu-ray when it came out on Blu-ray. And we had a wonderful time because he was telling me, he said, Sybil, the most favorite thing was, when I come at him at his big bad spaceship and I'm screaming and I'm going to jam his stellar converter with my spaceship and commit this, harakiri in outer space, and I'm screaming and he just blasts her out of space. He loved that. He loved that role, and he was very good as the villain, and he was very good in that movie. Yeah, and of course our space cowboy. You can't forget our space cowboy.
George Papard.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, George. He was wonderful, yeah. But, it was, not only was it a magnificent story, that was a John Sayles script,
I know,
Did
unbelievable.
you know
Yeah. Just such a bunch of talent involved in that production, really.
And Jimmy Murakami, the director, he actually, he came from the world of commercials, so he knew how to make an interesting story and make it look good, and with John Sayles' script, and then of course Roger Corman's casting of the movie was just incredible. And yes, and I was, that movie obviously was Seven Magnificent Gladiators. Actually, it was Seven Samurai.
Yes,
actually, the Seven Samurai in outer space, and then we went on. Besides besides Battle Beyond the Stars, I also did the Magnificent Seven Gladiators with Lou Ferrigno, which was kind of also a Seven Samurai.
That's
movie.
True.
I don't know if you saw that one.
That's a Italian-made film.
Yes, we did that in Rome. Yeah.
Yep.
But absolutely, and you know something, I have not really, besides Amazon Women on the Moon, if you think about it, I've not really done a science fiction movie per se since then, but I have one. I don't know if you've heard of it or you've read about it, but I am going to be in a wonderful, now I don't know if it's going to be 4 movies or 8 episodes for television, but there is a movie out there right now, and I think you probably have heard about it. It's called Space Command.
Yep.
Mark Zicree.
Oh, yeah. Space Command.
Mark.
It's set for 2013, isn't it? Released sometime in 2013. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's going to be shot in March.
Yeah.
And Mark is right now writing 4 screenplays. And again, we don't know, are we going to shoot 4 movies, or is that going to turn into 8 episodes? Because television wants it, but Mark wants to do it as 4 movies. So we'll see. Or maybe it'll be 2 movies, 2, longer versions. So I don't know yet what it's going to be. And, Mark has said to me, Sybil, this is going to be your return to science fiction.
Yes.
And I'm very happy about that. And that's something that we have to discuss. But I'm very excited about it. So.
Well, you've got to promise us you'll come back and talk to us about that as soon as you find out.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, please. And what we'd like to do maybe is bring you both on and talk
that'd be
about
good.
it. That'd be the cool thing to do.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful. Yes. Okay. I'm going to note that down. Definitely. That would be fantastic. He'll also have a lot more information to tell you at that point as well. he'll have that for you then. That'll be exciting.
I'd really like to get that, be one of the first sources to kind of break that news to everybody.
Yes, wonderful.
Sybil, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We love you dearly, and it's an honor to call you a friend.
Thank you so much, and I'm so honored to have you as my friends. And thank you for having me, and I will be back and let you know everything about Space Command, and also don't forget Ruger. Ruger, the movie, the graphic novel, and the game, and my partner Les Thomas, who is a specialist in the video game world. He's a video game analyst by the Cloud Computing Journal. Mentioned him that, and he's working very hard on that end, and I'll be back and let you know everything about it.
Now, before you go, real quick, your website so people can go there and check it out. And also, I have to tell you that I'm hoping this leads to a Ruger action figure, because we need one of those too.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think about that yet, but actually Les Thomas did, and he said that he's actually talking to a company that are going to do little action figures. So
yes,
that's also in the planning. Absolutely, yes. You can follow me, like I said before, twitter.com/Sybil Danning, and my website is SybilDanning.net.
That's right. Thank you again, Sybil. You have a wonderful evening, and let's hear from you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sybil.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Take good care.
We will. You too. Bye-bye.
And thank you to all my fans out there. Bye-bye.
Yay. Wow, guys. Sybil Danning right here on Nightwatch. Sorry, Hugh, your top three. We reduced it from top 5 to top 3, and he was just incomplete over here.
You can put your toupee back on now.
Yeah.
I don't need one.
I was going to do my Sean Connery, but I'm not that good at it yet. I've been working on it.
Yes.
Sybil was pretty good, though.
Hello, Sybil. This is my hairpiece.
Yes.
It's almost a little Jimmy Stewart, though.
Yeah.
Well, hey, movie house.
You would think someone...
You can't even talk. You've traumatized me.
Wow, that was too much
every time a bell rings, Sybil Danning gets some wings.
Oh, my God.
Picks up that kid, whipping him around there. Kid's like, losing his crutches.
Start hammering him with
Look at the tree. A little angel just look at it. The angel got his wings.
Well, I don't know, Something happened to you when you were under the knife.
Yeah. I think you're right. That's.
Look at it.
You feel lucky, punk? I suggest you move that Volkswagen.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Go ahead. Change my oil.
Greetings, salutations. You've reached Johnny Reed, owner.
You had to think about who he was. Did you get that?
Have a great day.
Wow.
So that wasn't even right, Hugh. You deleted it. You crazy.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
All right, youtube.com/Nightwatch Radio, where we're going to put segments up of some of our past interviews and stuff like that, or if we do something cool.
Very cool.
Comic-Con, sometimes we film stuff. We'll throw it up there so people can watch it. It'll be kind of fun. So anyway, we're getting ready to go to break, but before we do that...
Dark in the city, night is a
I'm wearing Jimmy Star.
Steam in the subway,
And I'm no.
earth is a fire.
Don't you wish you had Jimmy Star? I know I do.
I don't have any yet.
But I do.
Is that Jimmy Star?
Woman,
Jimmy
you
Star.
want me, give me a sign and catch
Come
my
on,
breathing
give me some
even
now.
closer behind.
Do 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 do.
Oh,
Jimmy
yeah.
Star. Yeah, Jimmy Star Clothes, ladies and gentlemen. A wonderful sponsor of Nightwatch, along with Brian with a Y David, Brian David Productions, which is very cool. BD Productions. He's in town, actually. And we're real excited he's a sponsor. And of course, Renegade Arts with our good friends Alex and Doug Bradley. Pinhead himself is a sponsor here of Nightwatch, ladies and gentlemen. And if you haven't heard Spine Chillers, then you haven't been scared in a while, because that is some scary stuff. And if you missed it, Doug did a very special reading of Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart right here on Nightwatch for our Halloween special. And you can download that now in our audio chamber at www.nightwatchradio.com. And you can hear how amazing that was. It was an exclusive just for us. And man, was
Very
that
cool.
creepy.
Yeah. Very cool.
But we're going to go. We will be back right after the break with Michael Bean and Jennifer Blanc being right here on Nightwatch.
Spook to you later.
See you soon, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Hello, you maniacs of the dark. This is King Diamond, and you're listening to Nightwatch. You better keep hanging here. Nightwatch.